Do empaths become empaths as a result of trauma? It's a great question. It's a question that I've broken down quite substantially in other reels. Is it nurture or nature? But for me, the more important question is, why are you trying to detract from the gift of empathy, heightened awareness, and elevated emotional intelligence? Is it hate? Is it envy? Is it fear? Is it jealousy? Is it an inability to expand your mind and see beyond that which is not like you? Why do people even talk about trauma as the platform for any type of defense mechanism, any type of response to bullying, bad jokes, any form of degradation? And so these new terms, trauma and triggers, have become these new buzzwords that have become ammunition for the manipulator, the narcissist, the bully, the advantage taker, the vampire, because it validates, it removes accountability from their part because they're putting the onus on you. So let's dive deep into this phenomenon. My name is Vital GermaineIn. This is the SIGMA EMPATH Podcast. It's the rant edition. Thank you for chiming in. I'm a 7-time author, keynote speaker, and life coach. I specialize in empath empowerment and narcissist recovery. And for those who are looking to live a more empowered, authentic life, I will help you along your journey of discovering and connecting with the true essence of you and having the courage to show up in the world as you. So the trauma response is basically replacing the concept of, oh, you're so sensitive. Now people are leveraging, because it's a buzzword, it's common. Oh, you're just being triggered. Oh, it's based on trauma. No, this is the short version that I'm going to share with you now. No, my perceived negative response to your bad behavior is not because I am suffering from trauma or because you've triggered me. It's because I identify pattern recognition. I leverage my discernment. I leverage my intuition. I leverage my experience, my acute awareness. And I put all those pieces together, and I've come to the conclusion, quite an objective conclusion, that you are simply a narcissist asshole. Nothing to do with my trauma. You haven't triggered me. I have just identified your character type. But as your defense, as your manipulation to make me feel guilty, to make me feel shameful, bad about myself because, oh, I'm responding in such a negative way, you're trying to manipulate me into feeling that guilt. And as an empowered empath, that ain't gonna happen. So whenever, you've got to be able to identify this immediately. Whenever somebody uses those phrases, it's a trauma response, oh, it's based on your trauma, or you've been triggered. It might be the truth. Do take a moment to self-reflect and evaluate, yes, was I triggered? Is this steeped or based in some of the trauma? We've all experienced trauma. But that doesn't mean that every time I respond to something in a protective way that it's a trigger or that it's trauma. Let me know if you have experienced or if you've heard these phrases. You've just been triggered. It's a trauma response. And then, of course, the biggest concept is those who are empath haters or who don't understand who we are and what we are, they're going to say, oh, that empath, that's some bullshit. You're just like that because you were traumatized, and this is your trauma response to the world. You've become hypervigilant. You've become oversensitive because you were somehow traumatized in your childhood, and now you're taking it out on me as if I've done something wrong. Well, actually, you have. I've observed you. You've manipulated me. You've gaslighted me. You love bombed me. You deflected all accountability. You deny responsibility. So it's not a trauma response. If anything, the only thing that I'm being protective about is I'm protecting my well-being. I'm protecting my core values because you have violated them. You have overstepped your boundary. In fact, I am enforcing a boundary which is not based on trauma. It's based on self-awareness and basic psychological understanding that you are treating me with a lack of respect. And I, as an empowered empath, will not tolerate, I will not accept that behavior. So in your manipulation, you can try to make me feel guilty, but I feel no shame because I am connected to who I am. I understand myself. I've taken the time to self-evaluate. I do understand what's a trauma, what my trauma is. I've either addressed it or I'm in the process of addressing it, but this right now is you just being a narcissist asshole. And so I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to hold the mirror up in your face, and what you do with it is up to you. But do know this, that as you try to accuse me, it ain't going to work because I am aware. Let me know, have you heard those phrases? Have you been accused of being overly sensitive? Have you been accused of it being a trauma response every time you try and hold somebody accountable? And as I say that, and I invite you all to be interactive, this is the value of this community that I'm trying to build. I appreciate, and by the way, I would love for you to like, follow, and subscribe. And if this content brings value to you and you think it would help somebody else, please share it. But here's the true value of the community that I'm trying to build. And by the way, thank you for helping me grow this community. But the true value comes in this. As you interact and respond and share your experiences and share your trauma, your narcissist abuse, your opinion, and other people, and if you interact with the person who's responded and you let them know, I feel you, I get you, what it does is it reminds us that we are not alone in this unique journey of having heightened emotional intelligence. One of the big challenges of being an empath is we feel isolated, we feel very alone, we think we're the only ones out there, and in fact, we are a very small percentage. I keep repeating this statistic because it blows my mind. Only 5%, according to some statistics, of the population, the human population, are empaths. So we are going to feel isolated, but this community is helping us understand that we are not alone. There are other people out there who have the same experiences, who perceive the world in the same way that we do, who relate to how we feel, how we think, because that level of, is it just me, is unto itself incredibly painful. So again, my call to action is interact with each other, read the responses of other people, let them know, I feel you, bro, I feel you, sis, I feel you, girl, whatever that your vernacular is. Let people know you relate to them, and that's how we become empowered, because the empowerment journey, when you do it all alone, is really, really hard. We are social beings. We do need a sense of community. Even though the empath loves solitude, we still need a sense of community. So again, be supportive of each other. If you're on this platform to share hate and disagree, well, you're in the wrong place. This platform is not for you. If you don't understand what the empath is, or you're not in a position to seek understanding and expand your mind, then this platform is not for you, and your hate is not welcome. Having said that, disagreement is welcome. I invite healthy debate, because it's through debate that we can learn, oh, I didn't think of it that way. And that's one of the beautiful things about the empath. With our emotional intelligence, we have the ability, the desire to look at things from a different perspective as we seek understanding. But for most people, they're not willing or capable of doing that, which goes back to the manipulation. They see their things one way because they've been indoctrinated and programmed. And then we come along and show them, but wait a minute, you're being dishonest. You lack integrity. You're being manipulative. And people don't like being held accountable, which goes back full circle to their line of defense will be to accuse you, to turn it back onto you so that you become the bad person. And they'll sneak in this very sneaky line, maybe, to disguise. If you've called them out, they'll say, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Oh, I'm sorry that I triggered you. Oh, what a sneaky apology, because it's not an apology. It's just simply another dig. Have you ever heard that one? I'm sorry you feel that way. Oh, I'm sorry that I triggered you. No, you didn't trigger me. Secondly, don't apologize for my response. Apologize for what you said. Apologize for what you did. Don't be apologetic for how I feel. That's got nothing to do with you. I can handle my own emotions. Apologize for what you said and what you did, because it is wrong, and I'm putting it up in your face, and I know you don't like it, but I'm not going to let you get away with it. And if I do, it means that I've walked away and I've blocked you out of my life. You no longer have access to me. So these are your choices along the journey when you feel that people are manipulating you with the trauma response or you've been triggered. Once again, my name is Vital Germaine. This is the Sigma Empath Podcast. It's the rant edition. Thank you for chiming in. Please, once again, express yourself, be supportive of each other, and that's how we find strength in numbers. Thank you.